Hey everyone, welcome to our channel. Imagine if a tiny hair clip could change your whole life. Sounds unbelievable, right? But today, I'm going to tell you a real story about a busy businessman and a little orphan girl, all connected by a single shining hair clip. Stay with me because by the end of this story, you will see how one small object can spark incredible hope and change everything. Our story begins on a cool morning when Mr. Rahman, a hard-working businessman known for his strict routine and a serious face, planned to visit a local orphanage. Every day he wore a suit and carried a briefcase full of important papers. He was so busy that he hardly ever thought about anything other than his work and making money. But that day was different. It was a day that would change his life forever. Hello, my dear friends. I want you to picture Mr. Rahman in your mind. He is tall, dressed in a neat suit, and has a heart that has known both happiness and deep sorrow. You see, many years ago, Mr. Rahman had a daughter named Layla. She was full of life, with bright eyes and a cheerful smile. One day, things went terribly wrong, and Layla went missing. People say that sometimes, even in our darkest moments, there is a glimmer of hope. For Mr. Rahman, that glimmer was hidden in a small memory, a tiny sparkling hair clip that Layla used to wear every day. Now let's talk about that hair clip. It wasn't just any clip. It was a special piece of jewelry, a tiny treasure in shiny metal with a unique design that many admired. Even to a scientist, the clip was interesting. The way it was made was very precise, with small details that made it both strong and beautiful. In a way, it was like a piece of art, carefully created so that it would last through time while holding a very personal story. Imagine you have a favorite toy or a small keepsake that reminds you of someone you love. That is exactly how Mr. Rahman felt about Layla's hair clip. Every time he saw it, he remembered his daughter's kind laugh and her warm hugs. But one day during his busy schedule, that memory was almost lost until fate stepped in. Mr. Rahman had gone to the orphanage to personally deliver a donation. He thought he was just going to help out, nothing more than a brief visit during his hectic day. As soon as he stepped inside the orphanage, he was greeted by smiling children and gentle caretakers. The building was painted in bright colors, with walls decorated with cheerful drawings, and the sound of children laughing filled the air. But something unusual caught his eye that very day. As he walked down a hallway, he saw a little girl playing with her friends, and something around her head caught his attention. There, shining in the soft light of the room, was a beautiful hair clip, the very same hair clip that belonged to his missing daughter, Layla. At first, Mr. Rahman could hardly believe what he saw. His heart pounded so fast that he almost missed a beat. Could this be real? He thought. With hesitance and hope mixing in his voice, he asked one of the kind caretakers, "Excuse me, miss, where did this clip come from?" The caretaker smiled gently and explained, "This little girl, Mina, found it in the garden. We thought it was left behind, so we kept it safe in case it belonged to someone." As Mr. Rahman held the clip in his hand, he remembered every little detail of Layla's laughter and every moment they had shared. He could not help but feel both sadness and hope all at once. It was as if the sky cleared after a storm, letting warm sunshine flood through the clouds. Sometimes small things can have a big story behind them. You know when you lose your favorite toy and then find it again in the most unexpected place? That feeling is real, and that's exactly what Mr. Rahman experienced. It wasn't just a scrap of metal to him. It was a token of a love he never let go of. Imagine if your own cherished toy suddenly reappeared after you had given up on finding it. Wouldn't that feel amazing? That tiny moment can fill your heart with joy and remind you that hope is always near. As the day went on, Mr. Rahman began to think about what could have happened to allow Layla's clip to appear with Mina. He wondered if fate had a mysterious way of showing us that nothing is ever truly lost. At least that was his thought in that moment, and it brought a gentle smile to his tired face. Now I know some of you might be thinking, this is just a coincidence, right? But sometimes coincidences can lead to amazing changes in our lives. During this part of the story, Mr. Rahman decided to follow his heart. He started talking to the caretakers, asking more questions about Mina and the clip. He even took a note on his phone about every small detail, like the color of the clip, how Mina was playing, and the kind words of the caretakers. It was almost like he was recording a little mystery for himself, one that could help him find answers about Layla. The clip was made of a high-quality metal that does not rust easily. This means it could last for many years, even if it was lost or forgotten. This kind of metal is often used in jewelry and special keepsakes because it can shine for a long time. Isn't it interesting how something built to last can carry a memory forever? Some of you might laugh and say, it's just a hair clip. But for Mr. Rahman, it was everything. It stood as a tiny reminder of his lost daughter and the hope that she might still be out there somewhere, waiting for him to find her again. As the day was ending, Mr. Rahman could not shake the feeling that this tiny clip was a sign. He decided that he had to learn more about Mina and the clip. He spoke gently with the caretaker who had shown him where Mina was playing, asking, do you know if Mina has any other things that might help me remember something special? The caretaker replied, Mina is a kind and honest girl. She sometimes talks about different lost treasures she finds around the orphanage. Maybe you should talk to her and hear her story. Inspired by these words, Mr. Rahman sat down with Mina on a little bench in the garden. With a soft, caring tone, he said, Mina, can you tell me how you found this clip? Mina looked up, her eyes wide with innocence and excitement, and she began to explain something very simple yet magical. Mina said, I was playing hide and seek with my friends. I saw something shiny near the old oak tree. I picked it up because it looked like a treasure. I thought it might belong to someone who really cared about it. Her voice was pure and honest, and every word filled Mr. Rahman's heart with warmth. In that moment, he realized that even though he had spent many years chasing numbers and business deals, he had forgotten the magic of small moments. The conversation with Mina made Mr. Rahman think of all the times he had been too busy to notice the beauty around him. He remembered playing in the park when he was young, the sound of laughter in the rain, and the feeling of warm light on his face during a summer day. It was then he understood that sometimes life surprises us by giving a little gift when we least expect it. Life is full of unexpected moments. I believe that even when things seem hopeless, a small sign, a lost toy, a kind smile, or even a tiny hair clip can change our path. I always say never ignore the little things. They may be sending big messages, and in Mr. Rahman's case, the message was about hope, love, and the possibility of reuniting with someone very dear. This twist in our story marks a turning point where all the hard work in hiding within that businessman's heart started to shine through. With Mina's simple act of finding the clip, Mr. Rahman felt the beginning of a journey that could bring him closer to finding his missing daughter. It was as if the puzzle of his life was slowly coming together, one tiny clue at a time. Now, my dear friends, as we reach the end of the story, let's remember one very important truth. Sometimes even the smallest things can lead to the biggest changes in our lives. For Mr. Rahman, seeing that small hair clip on Mina was like a spark that lit up a dark room. Suddenly, all the busy work, the endless meetings, and the cold numbers in his briefcase did not seem as important. In that beautiful moment, his heart was filled with hope and the promise of a new beginning. He began to visit the orphanage more often, not just as a donor, but as a friend and a guide. He talked with the caretakers, learned about the children, and even learned a few things himself about love, forgiveness, and the power of little miracles. The hair clip, which once looked like a simple piece of metal, became a symbol of second chances and the idea that no treasure is too small when it holds a big story. Do not be so caught up in your daily routines that you miss the magic of everyday moments. Whether it's a forgotten toy, a kind smile from a stranger, or even a glimmer of hope in a small hair clip, remember that every little thing matters. Life is built on these hidden treasures, and sometimes all it takes is one tiny clue to change everything. Before I end, I want to remind you all to look around and notice the wonders in your own life. Write down those moments, share them with your family, and never lose hope. Because as you saw, even a little hair clip can hold a message of endless love and hope. Thank you so much for joining me on this heartfelt journey. If you enjoyed this story and felt the spark of hope in your own heart, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to click on the video on the end screen that shows another amazing story of miracles and mysteries. You won't want to miss it.